Welcome back to DuctTales, where we like to break down some of those complex breastfeeding topics, chapter by chapter.
Right.
And this week we are diving into chapter 3 of What Doctors Don't Know About Breastfeeding.
Okay.
Is formula the same as breast milk? You might think that the answer is pretty straightforward.
Right.
But you'd be surprised how much nuance there is to this question.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the book really kind of dives into some eye-opening information about the differences between the two and some of those, common assumptions that people make about them that may not be entirely accurate.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, the book talks about formula companies and their marketing efforts. And it kind of claims that they invest a lot in trying to convince parents and even healthcare providers that formula is almost as good as breast milk.
Yeah.
If not better in some ways.
Yeah, there's a quote from the book that I found particularly striking. It says, "Outrageously, the under-the-breath message is that formula is better than breastfeeding because it is safer and more reliable." Yeah. It's like they're trying to tap into those anxieties that so many new parents feel, especially when they're facing challenges with breastfeeding.
It definitely makes you think about how those messages can influence our perceptions. Right.
Yeah.
But the book doesn't stop there.
Right.
It goes on to explain that breast milk is so much more than just a collection of ingredients.
Exactly. You can't just take those individual components, mix them together in a lab and expect to recreate it.
Right.
The book uses the phrase, breastfeeding is much more than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
There's a synergy, complex interplay of factors that formula just can't replicate.
It's like trying to build a house with just bricks.
Right.
You need the mortar, you need the beams, you need the wiring, all those different elements working together to make it a functional home. Yeah. So what are some of the key differences that the book highlights?
Well, it talks about how formula companies have tried to improve their products over the years by adding things like, LCPUFAS, nucleotides, probiotics,
Yeah.
They claim these additions make formula more like breast milk.
Right.
But the book points out that many of these additions haven't lived up to the hype.
So it's not as simple as just adding a few extra ingredients.
Not at all. Take LCPUFAs, for example. They were marketed as, boosting vision and intelligence in babies.
Right.
But studies have shown no significant differences compared to babies who weren't given formula with added LCPUFAs.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It seems like they're always trying to catch up to breast milk.
They're always trying to play catch up, but they can never quite get there.
Yeah, they can never quite get there.
And that gap is evident in what formula still lacks.
Okay.
The book lists components like Hamlet, a protein found in breast milk that has anti-tumor properties. Epidermal growth factor, which protects the baby's gut.
Okay.
Neuronal growth factor, crucial for brain development.
Interesting.
And various cytokines that modulate the immune response. None of these are found in formula.
So even with all the advancements in formula technology, it's still missing some pretty crucial elements that are naturally present in breast milk.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how powerful and complex breast milk really is.
And we haven't even touched upon the fact that it's constantly changing and adapting.
Okay, wait, what do you mean by that? I thought breast milk was, just breast milk.
That's what's so fascinating. The book emphasizes this dynamic nature of breast milk.
Okay.
It changes throughout the day and night. It varies based on the baby's age and their individual needs.
Okay.
And it even adapts to provide specific immune factors to protect the baby from illnesses that they might be exposed to.
That's mind-blowing. So formula is static, but breast milk is like this personalized superfood that's constantly evolving to meet the baby's exact requirement.
Exact.
You mentioned immune factors. Tell me more about that.
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
If a baby is exposed to a cold virus, the mother's body actually produces antibodies against that specific virus. And those antibodies are transferred to the baby through the breast milk.
Interesting.
It's like a targeted defense system, constantly updating to protect the baby from whatever they encounter in their environment.
That's incredible. Formula can't do that, can it?
Not even close. It's one of the most powerful ways that breast milk supports a baby's developing immune system. It's like having a personal bodyguard on call 24/7.
So we've talked about how breast milk is more than just ingredients. We've talked about its incredible ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Are there any other major differences that the book brings up?
There are quite a few. Actually, another key difference is the impact on the baby's microbiome. Have you heard of that term before?
Yeah, I think it refers to the community of bacteria that lives in our gut, right?
That's right. And it turns out that the gut microbiome plays a huge role in our overall health, affecting everything from digestion to immunity to even mental health.
Oh, how does breast milk factor into all of this?
Well, breast milk is specifically designed to nourish and support the development of a healthy gut microbiome in babies.
Okay.
It promotes the growth of beneficial bacteria, which helps with things like digestion and nutrient absorption, and it also helps suppress harmful bacteria, protecting the baby from potential infections and other health issues.
So it sounds like breastfeeding is giving babies like a head start in building a strong and resilient gut, which is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And in contrast, formula can actually disrupt this delicate balance of bacteria in the gut.
Right.
It's not that formula is inherently bad,
right,
but it simply doesn't have the same properties as breast milk
when
it comes to shaping a healthy microbiome.
Okay, this is all really fascinating stuff. So based on what we discussed so far, is it safe to say that the book pretty much debunks the myth that formula is equivalent to breast milk?
Without a doubt, the book makes it very clear that while formula can sustain a baby, it simply can't replicate the complexity, the adaptability, and the long-term health benefits that breast milk provides.
Right.
It's not just about the ingredients, it's about the entire system that's working together to nourish and protect the baby.
This is all eye-opening stuff, and I'm sure our listeners are already picking up on some really valuable insights.
Right.
But before we move on, I want to address something that the book mentions about research.
Okay.
It talks about how some people argue that studies comparing breastfed and formula-fed babies lack the gold standard of randomized controlled trials.
Yes, and that's a valid point to bring up. Ethically, you can't randomly assign mothers to either breastfeed or formula feed their babies.
Right.
But the book argues that other study designs can still provide valuable insights into the benefits of breastfeeding.
So it's not that we don't have evidence, it's just that we can't conduct certain types of studies due to ethical considerations.
Exactly. And when you look at the vast amount of research that has been done, the evidence overwhelmingly points to the superiority of breast milk when it comes to infant health and development.
Well, there you have it, folks. The science is pretty clear on this one.
Now, what's really interesting is how breast milk changes in very specific ways. Did you know that it even changes throughout the day?
Really? I had no idea.
Yes. It's part of what's called chrononutrition, which is basically the idea that the timing of when we eat certain foods can affect our health. The composition of breast milk actually aligns with the baby's natural sleep-wake cycles. So night milk is different from daytime milk.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the differences between daytime and nighttime milk?
That's what's so cool. For example, nighttime milk has higher levels of tryptophan, which is an amino acid that helps promote sleep.
Oh.
So it's like breast milk is naturally designed to help babies settle down for the night. Pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely. It makes you wonder if pumping and storing breast milk disrupts this natural rhythm. What do you think?
That's a great question and one that researchers are still exploring.
Right.
Some studies suggest that there might be some differences in the composition of pumped and stored breast milk compared to milk that's taken directly from the breast.
Okay.
However, it's important to remember that even pumped breast milk still offers significant benefits over formula.
Right. This is all just reinforcing how intricate and perfectly designed breast milk is.
Yes.
It's like this fine-tuned system that constantly adapts to the baby's needs in ways that we are still just beginning to understand.
Exactly, and it highlights the limitations of trying to recreate it in a lab.
Right.
Despite all the research and advancements, formula remains a static product unable to match the dynamic nature of breast milk.
So to circle back to the chapter's title, is formula the same as breast milk?
The book gives a resounding no. While formula can nourish a baby, it falls short when it comes to the intricate composition, the adaptability, and the long-term health benefits that breast milk provides.
It's clear that there's so much more to this question than meets the eye.
Yeah.
The book really challenges the notion of equivalence and encourages us to look beyond the marketing claims.
Right.
Right? And it underscores the importance of supporting breastfeeding mothers.
Yes.
And ensuring they have access to the resources and information they need to make informed choices.
Absolutely.
You know, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about advocating for policies that protect, promote, and support breastfeeding.
Yes.
Because understanding the true value of breast milk benefits not just individual babies and mothers, but society as a whole.
Absolutely. There are so many societal benefits to breastfeeding, including reduced healthcare costs, improved maternal and child health outcomes, and even environmental benefits.
This is just incredible, and it makes me appreciate the complexity and beauty of breastfeeding even more.
And this is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole book filled with fascinating insights like this waiting to be uncovered.
I know. I can't wait to keep reading.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's amazing to think about how much information's been packed into this one chapter, busting myths and challenging assumptions along the way. And to think we haven't even gotten to the social and legal aspects of breastfeeding.
Oh, that's right.
Which the book covers in a later chapter.
Yeah, I'm already looking forward to diving into that one. But before we get ahead of ourselves, is there anything else from Chapter 3 that really stood out to you?
You know what really resonated with me was the discussion about how breast milk changes based on the baby's age.
Okay.
Think about it. Formula stays the same, but breast milk evolves as the baby grows.
Right.
It's almost like it's anticipating their needs before they even arise.
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how much we still don't know about breast milk. There's this whole world of complexity that we're only beginning to understand.
And it highlights the limitations of trying to recreate it in a lab despite all the research and advancements. Formula remains a static product unable to match the dynamic nature of breast milk.
It reminds me of that quote we mentioned earlier about how formula companies tried to present their product as safer and more reliable than breast milk.
Right.
But when you see how perfectly breast milk is designed to meet a baby's changing needs, it makes you question that whole idea of reliability, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's like saying a car is more reliable than a horse because it doesn't need to eat hay.
Okay.
Sure, the car might be simpler to maintain in some ways, but it can't adapt to different terrains or situations the way a horse can.
Right.
Breast milk is that horse. It's responsive. It's intuitive. It's designed to thrive in the ever-changing environment of a growing baby.
I love that analogy. It really puts things into perspective. So as we wrap up our deep dive into this chapter, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
Well, if there's one thing I want everyone to understand, it's that the question, is formula the same as breast milk, has a very clear answer, and that answer is no.
Right.
While formula can certainly nourish a baby, it simply can't replicate the complexity, the adaptability, and the long-term health benefits of breast milk.
It's about recognizing that breast milk is in a league of its own.
Yes.
A biological marvel that science is still trying to fully comprehend.
And that recognizing the value of breast milk, both for individuals and for society as a whole, is crucial for creating a culture that truly supports breastfeeding mothers and their babies.
Well said. If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we highly encourage you to check out Chapter 3 of What Doctors Don't Know About Breastfeeding for yourself.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
And be sure to join us next time as we tackle a topic that goes beyond the science, the right to breastfeed.
Yes, this chapter delves into the social and legal aspects of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Something that I think a lot of people don't even realize is a whole discussion in itself will be exploring the challenges that mothers face.
Right.
From societal norms and expectations to workplace barriers, and discussing why protecting this right is so crucial.
It's going to be a really thought-provoking conversation, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what we've discussed today. What resonated with you most from this chapter? Did anything surprise you? Share your takeaways, your questions, your aha moments with us on social media using #DuctTales.
Yes, we're all on this learning journey together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of breastfeeding. Until next time.
Keep those brains milky. Yeah, it's crazy how much we learn just from going through this one chapter.
I know, and it makes you think about how much we still don't know.
Right.
There's so much more to learn and understand about breastfeeding. We just sort of think of it as this natural process, but there's a whole world of science and complexity behind it.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about this book. It's challenging those assumptions that we have and encouraging us to look deeper and question what we think we know. It's not just about promoting breastfeeding.
Right.
It's about understanding it on a whole new level.
Exactly. And that understanding is crucial for creating a society that truly values and supports breastfeeding mothers and their babies.
Well said. So if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we highly encourage you to check out Chapter 3 of What Doctors Don't Know About Breastfeeding for yourself.
Yeah, you'll find even more fascinating details and insights that we didn't have time to cover today.
And be sure to join us next time when we tackle a topic that goes beyond the science, the right to breastfeed.
Ooh. This chapter delves into the social and legal aspects of breastfeeding. We'll be exploring the challenges mothers face from societal norms and expectations to workplace barriers, and discussing why protecting this right is so crucial.
It's going to be a really thought-provoking conversation, so stay tuned. And in the meantime, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what we've discussed today. What resonated with you most from this chapter? Did anything surprise you? Share your takeaways, your questions, your aha moments with us on social media using #DuctTales. We're all on this learning journey together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of breastfeeding. Until next time.
Keep those brains milky.